Collectible Spot. We are having a look at the NECA Toys Star Trek Bat-Leth Replica. Kind of digging the fact that NECA's getting into role-playing things, such as, of course, the Bat-Leth that we're going to be having a look at right here. It is fairly large, as you could probably see it by the fact that Spot can't get it completely in camera, but it is a very large replica of the Klingon weapon Bat-Leth. Down below there's a little tag that comes included with it as well. It says NECA Online, www.necaonline.com. You want to check out more. There's also Star Trek there as well. Size-wise, again, it's really big. I can't get it completely in frame. The material it feels almost as if it's almost like a foamy plastic. It's got a little more stability to it than a foam piece. But it feels like it could have, again, it's a little softer, as you can hopefully see here. The tips are a little on the softer side. Even the ends here, they're not pointy. I mean, you're not going to obviously hurt anybody with this, I guess, unless you start swinging it at somebody. Paint-wise, again, Spot apologizes that you can't probably see all of it on camera here. Let me see if I can tip back there, try to give you a full view. Well, there's the side of it. There's the other side of it. The coloring is primarily this silver color, and then you've got the brown accents of the wrapped bandages, or wrapped, I'm presuming leather wrapped around the handle portions, the hand areas where the Klingons would be holding the weapon. Bat-Leths were very go-to weapons in the Star Trek universe, especially Star Trek The Next Generation. And you could either hold it by either just the straight end areas, as it was basically the same ends on both sides. You could either hold it on the one hand, or a lot of times when they were battling, they held it by both hands. And then sometimes you could also hold it in the middle section as well. It's heavy, but it's about as heavy as you probably would imagine it to be. It's not light, surprisingly. It doesn't have like if you were to pick up like a foam sword at Halloween, it doesn't have that weight. It is heavier than that, but a lot of it could be the fact too that it's just a longer accessory, a longer weapon, that it feels just heavier because it's got the little more of the weight spread out. I do like also the little small details of the paint wash, like the darker brown that they've added around the bandages or the wraps. And even areas such as here, you can see where the wrap would have been wrapped underneath itself, and then probably something was applied over top of it to strengthen the leather material. I guess the only thing I would say, obviously the fact that, again, Spot can't get all of it on camera, but the one thing I probably would say, though, is I wish it had maybe like a little bit darker of a wash around the edges, or a lighter wash, something to distinguish that the edge of the blade would have been a sharper section rather than the rest of the Bat-Leth. Other than that, it's a fantastic looking piece. Really done a good job, I gotta admit. Like, NECA did a fantastic job on this. Certainly ideal for displaying. You could obviously use it for role playing as well, but I think the displaying end of it would be quite good. Get a couple of hooks, mount it onto your wall. And kind of like the NECA Friday the 13th masks. Ideally, I mean, you could get a Star Trek replica. The Roddenberry store, for example, does a replica Bat-Leth, which is closer to a $200, I think it's about a $200 price point, and it's metal. This is a perfect fit for somebody who's a big fan of Star Trek, somebody that maybe doesn't have as much of the necessary funds and wants a fairly inexpensive means to display one of their favorite weapons from the Star Trek universe. And I think for that end of it, NECA does deliver a very strong outing. Love to see them approach other things as well, because it's really strange to kind of see NECA approaching things like Bat-Leths, because it feels to me that it's something that Diamond Select would have done, because Diamond Select does a lot of phasers, tricorders, and stuff like that, that it just seems a natural, for me, it seems like a natural thing that Diamond Select would have released something like this. But still, the end result is great. It's a great looking piece. It's got just the right amount of weight to it. It doesn't feel overly heavy, but it doesn't also feel overly light either. The paint is where it needs to be. Again, for play value, it's not super sharp. I mean, it doesn't have any sharp edges to it, so you don't have to worry about hurting necessarily anybody. Still, obviously, don't be swinging it, because it's going to have the tip points to it and everything else like that. And you can still hurt somebody with something that has no edges at all. You could hurt somebody with a phone book if you wanted to. But a great piece, though, to say the least. If you guys certainly are interested in picking up the NECA Replica Star Trek Bat-Leth, you can also find this at your local comic book stores. A great place to pick up a lot of things like this. If they don't have them available, just ask the guy. Ask the guy that's at the counters. Just say, excuse me, can you order me the NECA Replica Star Trek Bat-Leth? And he'll probably say, absolutely, I'd probably order one myself. Today's collectible spot, we're looking at something a little bit larger. Didn't quite get it completely in frame, but we're having a look today at the NECA Toys Star Trek. This was the Bat-Leth Replica. Stay tuned, guys. The spot's going to have more collectible spots heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.